Ian Storey, why do you think estate agents charge such low fees for their services? Talk to me.
The industry has been commoditised to, especially in recent years, since the rise of purple bricks, etc. The general public has been made to believe that we don't do anything for our money and that it's easy to sell a house and therefore cheap. But I think with fees, a lot of it comes back to agents not being good enough and not being worthy enough of charging a proper fee, because they do not do a good enough job to be able to justify charging more money. I mean, so it's the fault of the agents, really.
You charge 2%.
We quote 2%. Our average fee is 1.98.
That's not bad.
No, it was 1.85. It's gone up a bit this year, but we quote 2%, yeah.
I mean, how do you get across when people challenge you on your fee?
Well, part of it is mindset. Comes back to what I learned from Perry. And I've really seen it in Phil, who now works for us as part of the team. Phil's never been in an estate agency before, so he's only ever worked for Storeys in estate agency land. And to Phil, 2% is just what we charge. That's the fee. He's never known any different. So he goes out now, 28-year-old lad, listing houses at 400, 600, 800 at 2%, because to him, that's just what we charge. There's no discussion around it. I think the people who've been through 1%, and to them, 2% is quite high. But to Phil, it isn't, because it's just what we charge. It's a mindset thing. But then you have to be good enough to charge the fee.
How do you prove? How do you, when someone, when you're on the sofa and you're on £1 million house, because you do the post 900 stuff.
Yeah.
You're quoting 2%, and someone says your nearest competitor's charging, I don't know, 1.5 or 1.
So there's several things go into it. Part of it goes back to them knowing you before you sit down in the living room.
Hence the marketing and the videos which we've talked about. Check those videos out.
Yeah, so if they know you before you sit down, generally it's easier to get the fee. The power of video, so the quality of our videos, and the fact we've always done videos presenter-led is huge.
Have any of your competitors jumped on that bandwagon?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. But no, they haven't, no. Maybe I do know. I think one of the problems in any business is implementation and consistency. So you've got to actually do it, but then you've got to do it consistently for every single property. And maybe competitors were thinking about it back in 2019 when we started, but then in the last 2.5 years, no one's had to do that, have they? Because they've just been selling themselves. Whereas we've carried on doing video for every single house all the way through. So it's implementation and consistency. And being confident with what you do when you're sat in a living room, quoting 2%. We don't have a contract tie-in period. We don't have any upfront fees. So I say to people, we are 2%, but there's no tie-in, there's no upfront fee. So you don't pay a penny until you're happy with what we've achieved for you on the house.
But you're having to dole out the money for the videographer and everything else.
We pay like 900 quid per house on the market. So I'm quite comfortable with that, because I know, well, we hardly lose any properties. We hardly lose any to competitors. I think since we started, we've lost 1 to a competitor, two to competitors since we started in 3.5 years.
In terms of loss, not lost at the listing, lost at when it was on the market and went to another agent.
Changed agents, yeah. We've lost 2.
So your biggest problem is getting more stock.
Yeah.
And the problem is, as we said in a previous video, is that you've took the eye off the ball with your marketing.
Yes.
So now you've sorted your team out.
The other reason I don't mind spending so much putting a house on the market is because I know that the team are going to deliver an exceptional experience to those clients. So people, generally speaking, they don't leave us because they know we're doing all we can. We've got a great rapport with them. And if they do decide not to sell and sell in the future, 99% of them will come back to us.
What if a vendor is cooking their figures a bit in terms of it's a bit rich?
What do you mean?
You think it's worth $1 million, but they want it on at 1.2.
I wouldn't do it with such a big gap in between. No. If it was $1 million and $1.05 million, then maybe we'd have a conversation about that.
Would you consider disbursements?
What do you mean?
In the fact is that, if we're going to a tougher market, you would have to pay us.
I have considered that. I haven't had to implement it so far. No.
Might be something you want to consider.
It might be, but I like the idea for the vendor of a completely no risk. It's completely no risk for the vendor. So our average fee now is, Our average fee last year was 12,500, which is obviously very good. So I'm quite confident that it's no risk for the vendor. There is a risk for us, but if we get the marketing right and the price right, we're going to sell it.
Do you get many times where other agents overvalue and you have to walk away?
Yes, absolutely. I've walked away from loads, yeah.
And do you have a system in place that gets them the next
Yes,
time?
of course. Yeah, we nurture them, we keep in touch with them.
And do you get much? Because again, a lot of people don't like to go back to one of the original agents because they don't want to look like crap.
Don't forget, we only started the company, the company only got going in the middle of 2019. So we've not had that many opportunities for second-hand business since then. We are getting them now.
Any final thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think one thing we've used quite successfully is Get Agent. So the Get Agent stats show what percentage of original asking price you achieve. And we've always been over 100% since we started the company. And everyone else has, bar one, there's a thorn in my side, has always been below 100%. So we've sometimes relied on Get Agent to show the vendor that what they're getting for their money. So our internal stats, which are correct, show that we get 104.56% of the marketing price currently. Get Agent shows at 101.9, but it's still enough of a gap to show a vendor and say, well, we are more, but look, we're going to put more money. And I think if you create the right environment around your company on social media, people, they sort of want to work with you. We get people ringing us saying, is my house the sort of house that you would sell? Because they know you.
So instead of you trying to have to sell your services, they're coming to buy off you.
We do get that. We get that. And we've really impressed their friends, obviously word of mouth. But the more of an environment you can create on social before you sit in that front room, that's the key. And do check out those videos on the Ian Storey playlist, which is on my YouTube channel. Thank you for your time today, Ian. Cheers,
You've been exceptional. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.